Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this.
Oh, hi guys, welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we got to talk about the 2026 election coming up, especially with the midterm elections, because I'm going to tell you this, guys, there are four key states that are a must win for the Republicans coming up with the midterms. So we need to talk about that, hash out a plan, and how we can focus on keeping the Senate, all right? So before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, tip, and commission me for a modeling photo shoot, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is a Connecticut-based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech like I do, and you guys want to be able to say stuff without fear of being blocked, suspended, or deplatformed by the left, well then, ladies and gentlemen, head on over to Minds.com. Also, guys, I do have an awesome and the most awesome affiliate link with Burner. Burner is the less lethal self-defense company, guys. They make their top-of-the-line Burner SD, LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest, guys, their compact launcher. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment and your right to self-defense, but you guys want to do it in a less lethal manner, ladies and gentlemen, well then, head on over to my friends at burner.com. And full disclosure, guys, I am a proud owner of a Burner LE pistol myself. And finally, guys, we have this awesome, and I mean seriously, the most awesome affiliate link with North Shore Medical Supply. North Shore Medical Supply, they make their top of the line North Shore Megamax diaper, North Shore Supreme pull up their Eternal boosters, guys. So if you know somebody out there who needs to wear adult diapers and who seriously needs to be put in adult diapers like I am, guys, well then, ladies and gentlemen, head on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply, and they will make sure that they are diapered up and padded up as always. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Okay, wow, that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am diapered up in my North Shore Mega Max diapers with my Eternal boosters and my onesies from Little Comfort as well. So I'm diapered up. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? So today, guys, I want to talk about the midterm elections coming up, okay? A lot of people are focusing heavily on the House races and on the Senate races, but the one problem I'm seeing is that we're basically jumping all over the map here, okay? We're basically trying to jump all over between the U.S. House races and the U.S. Senate races. But the problem is here, guys, we need to be strategic. We need to be strategic here. The fact of the matter is that we need to be very strategic about what we're doing, okay? It's great and all that we're trying to get more seats in the House, but if we really want to get power and maintain the whole entire MAGA, conservative, libertarian, and Republican movement in this country, guys, then we really need to be laser focused. We really need to be laser focused on here. Because I'm telling you right now, okay? I'm telling you right now, the US Senate is the US Senate races right now is going to be key. It is going to be so vital to the libertarian, conservative, Republican, and MAGA movement. It is going to be key that we hold on to the Senate, okay? Because right now, guys, right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now, we basically have like a current 53 to 47 majority in the Senate. We currently have that. So if we want to maintain a strong majority, we have to fight. We have to put our fight in the Senate. Sure, we have to put our fight in the House, but I'm just going to say this bluntly. 80% of our fight has to be in the Senate. The 20% can be in the House. The reason for all this, guys, and the reason for all this, who has power in Washington? I know a lot of lefties are going to say, oh, the House of Representatives, House of Representatives. And some lefties will say, oh, it's the president. Or Republicans say it's the president. No, it's the Senate. The Senate holds majority power in this country. They make they appoint Supreme Court judges. Okay, they appoint these people. And sorry if I blurred a little bit, guys, because I just came out of work, so I'm sorry if you heard me stumbled. But also, guys, they set the tone for the direction of this country. It was like this: if Republicans hold majority in the U.S. Senate, Chucky Schumer loses power. He won't be able to block. He won't be able to block and obstruct. He won't even be able to shut down the government. Okay, he won't even be able to. It's that simple. So right now, guys, we have two states that are a must win in this country. Two states. And those two states are Maine with Susan Collins, North Carolina, because Tom Tillis is retiring and North Carolina is an open election. So what this means, ladies and gentlemen, we need to win religiously in Maine and North Carolina. But we also, ladies and gentlemen, we have to flip Michigan and Georgia, okay? To be able to reduce Chuck E. Schumer's power in the US Senate, we have to protect Maine and North Carolina at all costs. Okay? So Maine and North Carolina is a do or die state. Okay? We have to protect them at all costs in the Senate. On the other hand, we can win either in Michigan and Georgia. So those four states are going to be key to holding on power in the Senate. And if the Republicans can hold Maine and North Carolina and flip either Georgia or Michigan, Chuck E. Schumer does not have the power to shut down the government over his leftist ideology. So Chuck E. Schumer would literally lose power. And what happens is if we lose in Maine and North Carolina, but hold on to Georgia or Michigan, I'm gonna tell you right now, Vice President J.D. Vance becomes a working vice president. Okay? What this means like this, ladies and gentlemen, okay? What this really means in this country is this. If we can win Maine, North Carolina, and flip Georgia or Michigan, we don't need Vice President J.D. Vance for the last 2 years. Okay? If, on the other hand, we hold on to Maine and North Carolina, but we lose Georgia and Michigan, we become, okay, a 51-49 U.S. Senate, which means Republicans hold a 51 seat majority, the Democrats hold a 49. But then the problem is J.D. Vance becomes more vitally important because he would have to break the tie on every vote in every issue, ladies and gentlemen. So what's vital here, guys, what's vital here is that we have to hold Maine and North Carolina and flip one of Michigan or Georgia. We have to, because here's the thing, guys. If we don't flip Georgia or Michigan and we lose Maine and North Carolina, I'm sorry to say this, guys, we won't be able to have the majority anymore. Chuck E. Schumer becomes very powerful, and he'll be able to hold the Republican, conservative, libertarian, and MAGA party hostage. And here's a scary thought, and I'm going to plant this all in your head, okay? If the Republicans can hold Maine and North Carolina and flip either Georgia or Michigan, The fight that we do now in 2026, we go into 2028 in the presidential election with less of a fight. We go into 2028 knowing that J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio will more likely become the president in 2028. So the fight in 2026 matters in the U.S. Senate. It matters because if we don't win in 2026, the fight in 2028 gets brutal. It gets insanely harder. Okay? So this is why we need to focus on winning North Carolina, Maine, either Georgia or Michigan. Because if we don't win in 2026, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be fighting an uphill battle in Maine, not Maine. We're going to be fighting an uphill battle when it comes to the presidential election in 2028. And I, for one, do not want to fight an uphill battle in 2028. I want to come in 2028 knowing that we're going to elect a Republican or MAGA president. Okay? We really are. But this is why, guys, the 4 races matter. They really matter. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be blunt. The best case, if we hold Maine and North Carolina, but flip Georgia and Michigan, our majority becomes a lot bigger in the Senate. And there is no fucking way that Chucky Schumer will be able to obstruct with his leftist bullshit. But if we hold both and flip just one seat, okay, or if we hold Maine and North Carolina and lose Georgia and Michigan, the worst case scenario in all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that J.D. Vance becomes a working vice president for the last 2 years. J.D. Vance works his ass off instead of campaigning for 2028, guys. Now, here's the question I'm going to ask for every one of my Republicans, Libertarians, Conservative, and MAGA. Do you really want to go into 2028 having to fight tooth and nail, fight your ass off just to win a presidential election in 2028? Or do you want to fight it out now in 2026 and not have to fight it in 2028? Because I'm going to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be able to go into 2028 and not have to fight at all because we fought it in 2026 and we fought hard and won the majority, and now going to 2028 we don't have to fight it. So the question is, guys, okay, the question is, do you want to fight now or fight in 2028? And you can answer that for me. If you really do, go ahead, fight it in 2028. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I want to go into the 2028 presidential election with an upper hand. Okay, I want to be able to go into the presidential elections knowing that I'm not going to have to fight as hard as I do in 2026. Because here's the thing, guys. We need to win in 2026. If we win 2026, guys, we come in with the upper hand. We'd be able to set the tone for the presidential elections by saying, look, Look how weak, ineffective the Democrats are. Look at them with their SJW, social justice warrior bullshit policies. Yeah, but we got things done. And we set the tone for the presidential election in 2028. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, we need to put all our eggs in the basket, so to speak, here. We need to start putting our eggs in the basket in the fight with Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan. Those 4 states, like I said, are going to be the key to holding power in the Senate. Now, a lot of leftists will think that, oh, the House of Representatives hold power. But the one thing they don't fucking understand is that the House of Representatives, they're up every 2 years. So every 2 years, they're up for re-election. The presidency, they're like what? 2 4-year terms totaling 8 years. But the real power is in the US Senate, where they hold power for like what? 6 years. Yeah, for 6 years they hold power. So what that means, guys, if you really want to affect change in this country, the House of Representatives is like a what? It's like, yeah, whatever. They're the House of Representatives. But the real power is in the Senate, okay? And in those races, that's where you really want to fight it out. Because we all know there are some states that are already locked in with Democrats and Republicans. But the 4 states that I mentioned that are crucial to either expand our power or even or the worst case be shrunk, that's where we got to put our money in. That's where we got to put our fight in, ladies and gentlemen. We really got to fight tooth and nail in this one, guys. We really got to. And I'm telling you right now, we really have to fight tooth and nail with this. Because I'm going to tell you right now, guys, the fight is not in all 50 states. The fight to maintain power in the US Senate is in Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan. And if we can hold Maine and North Carolina and flip either one of those 2 states, there is no way on God's green earth that Chucky Schumer will be able to pull his bullshit like he does now. And here's the message in all this, guys. And here's the message. If you want to prevent Chucky Schumer from dictating the country, like, you know how the last government shutdown he did, which he punished like DHS, ICE, and the US Coast Guard, all because they wanted open borders, sanctuary cities. They wanted illegals in their like states. Put your money, support our candidates in Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan. Put your money and your effort into those states. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if we can win, okay, if we can win like 3 out of the 4 states, the majority in the Senate is going to be so wide that we literally don't need J.D. Vance in there. But if we lose Georgia and Michigan and still hold on to a slim majority with Maine and North Carolina, then J.D. Vance has to work his ass off in the last 2 years. So essentially, ladies and gentlemen, this midterm election comes down to whether we want to have a strong majority of Republicans in the Senate, or we basically fizzle out and have a weak majority, and then JD Vance becomes the working vice president and has to stay in Washington all the time to break the tie in the Senate. Think about that, guys. Think about that. Because the midterm elections is like what? Right now is like what? May? So June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 7 months away. So 7 months away, guys. We better fight like hell. We got 7 months to fight like hell to maintain power that we have in the Senate. And if we can expand our power in the Senate, just think, Chucky Schumer, he won't have the power anymore to shut down the government. So just look at it like this, guys. If we want to reduce Chucky Schumer's power in the Senate, then we have to do what is necessary to win. That means holding Maine, North Carolina, and flipping Georgia or Michigan. Okay? Now, flipping Georgia and Michigan, that could be it could be up to us whether we want to flip Georgia or Michigan. Okay? And that could boil down to the electoral college votes. Okay? Which one do we flip more? Do we flip Georgia or do we flip Michigan? And that all depends on it. But we do have to hold on to Maine and North Carolina. And if we can hold that real well, I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, walking into 2028 is going to be a cakewalk. And we're going to get either Marco Rubio or JD Vance as president. So this is why I tell people this. You want to win a presidential election this badly in 2028? Then do what it takes to keep Maine and North Carolina in Republican hands, and we flip either one of the other two states. We do that, we can walk into 2028 with either J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio becoming president of the United States. Either way, guys, we have our work cut out for us. We have our fucking damn marching orders for us. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to use the Dan Bongino rule, which is the 10, 10, and 10. That means 10 emails, 10 phone calls. Take 10 of your friends, family, and neighbors to the polls with you. 10, 10, and 10, guys. We do that 10, 10, and 10 in Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, or Michigan. We do 10, 10, and 10 in those states. I guarantee you the fight for the presidential election in 2028 is going to get easier for us. And it's going to make it very harder for the Democrats. Okay? So think of it like this. Do you want an easy fight in 2028, or do you want to work your butt off or your diaper off to win in 2028? I want to go into 2028 knowing that I could win this easily, instead of going into 2028 fighting with everything, including the damn kitchen sink, and throwing my mother into the fight. Okay? So this is why, guys, 2028 and 2026 is going to matter significantly. It is going to matter because if we don't fight like hell to keep the Senate in Republican hands, the fight in 2028 is going to be a cutthroat, brutal as bitch. It really is, guys. I hate to sugarcoat this. I hate to be the fucking bearer of the bad news, but the reality of all this is that if we don't win and if we don't win in 2026, don't fucking come crying. Don't fucking come complaining. Don't even fucking whine on social media saying, oh, we gotta fight like hell in 2028. Oh, we gotta fight like hell. Well, here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen, is because y'all didn't fight like hell in 2026. And if you fight like hell in 2026, the fight in 2028, it gets easy. And then for the Democrats, it makes it harder for them, which is why I want to make it harder for them to fight in 2028 than 2026. Okay? So we got to think strategic. Okay? We got to think strategically. We got to think like a tactician. All right? And here's the thing. We have to think like this. We got to think the bigger prize. The bigger prize is the presidential election in 2028. Because here's the thing. If the Republicans hold majority power in the Senate, they're able to influence the elections in 2028. That means they are able to influence the direction of where they want to go in 2028. That means they can go back to their state and say, well, look, we hold majority power in the United States Senate. So that means we want a Republican president. Okay? And you know what that means? If Republicans hold majority power, okay, and if they hold majority power in the Senate, Donald Trump is able to ram through his MAGA, Make America Great agenda and basically don't need J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance can be the insurance policy and be the tiebreaker in case if you have Republicans defecting. Okay? But in essence, guys, if we hold majority power in 2026 and going forward to 2028, I tell you this, the MAGA policies that we wanted in this country will get so much easier passed that Donald Trump doesn't have to work as hard, that we don't have to work as hard to pass the policies. And this makes it easier for J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio going into 2028, ladies and gentlemen. The MAGA cult, Republican Party, the conservative movement, and the libertarian movement, y'all need to realize that if we want to win and we want to hold power and we want to hold sway going into the presidential election in 2028, then we need to fight like hell in the U.S. Senate races. We need to fight like hell. That means like this. We need to pay all our attention, all our focus on Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, or Michigan. We need to fight like hell. Because I'm going to tell you this. If we lose Maine and North Carolina, we're fucked for the next 2 years until the presidential elections. We're fucked because if we lose those 4 states, Chucky Schumer is going to be able to ram his leftist, Democrat, socialist ideology through the Senate, no problem. And we're going to be screwed fucking royally. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to say this clear as day and blunt, that if you want to reduce Chucky Schumer's political power in the U.S. Senate and weaken him then we need to win Maine and North Carolina and flip Georgia and Michigan at all costs. And if we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we hold majority power going into the 2028 presidential election. So this is why, guys, Maine is a key state to fight. Okay? North Carolina, it's an open election because you have like what? Tom Tillis, who is retiring. Okay? You have him retiring, right? And then you have like what? The two Democrat seats that we should try to flip in Michigan, which is open right now, in Georgia with John Ossoff. So if we can flip one of those Republican seats in Georgia and Michigan, I'm telling you right now, we hold veto-proof majority in the Senate. President Trump will be able to ram through his issues with no problem whatsoever. Okay? He'll be able to ram through it and we would not have a problem. All right? But the fact of the matter is, guys, the Senate map is very important in the presidential election. Okay? Because it determines how we fight in 2028. It determines how we go to this battlefield. Okay? Do we go into this battlefield with a tailwind or an upwind? Take your pick. I'd rather go into a battlefield on top than behind. Because if we go into a battlefield behind, we're fucked. We're fucked come 2028. Because I'm gonna tell you what, come 2028, if we hold Michigan, if we hold like this, if we hold Maine and North Carolina but lose Georgia and Michigan, the fight gets harder in 2028. The fight gets so brutal, nasty, cutthroat that we're going to have to throw everyone in, including your goddamn motherfucking mother. Okay? So this is why, ladies and gentlemen, if we can win Maine, North Carolina, and we flip either Georgia or Michigan, the fight into 2028 becomes very easy. And it becomes so fucking easy that we can walk in there knowing that Marco Rubio or Vance becomes president, but if it's like, say, Vance running for president and Marco Rubio for vice president, we would hold majority power for the next 8 to 16 years, okay? We would hold virtual power. Just think of it this way. Just think of this in long terms, guys, okay? Just think of it like this. If we win the seats in the Senate going into 2028 presidential election, J.D. Vance will be able to hold the White House for the next 8 years, which is like all the way up to, I believe, like 2038. And after 2038, Marco Rubio would be able to hold that office from 2038 to 2048. Basically, guys, giving the Republican, conservative, libertarian, MAGA, and even the independent party virtual stranglehold on power in this country. That would literally mean for 16 years, the Republican Party would hold majority say. It would basically be able to say like this: we run this country for the next 16 years, all right? This is why, ladies and gentlemen, 2016 is going to matter so much. Okay? 2026, guys. I'm sorry if I said 2016, guys. 2026 is going to matter so much. It is going to matter so much that going into 2028 is either going to be a cakewalk or we're going to be fighting tooth and nail and fighting with everything with pitchforks and knives and kitchen sinks and throwing your mother in there. So the choice is yours, okay? The choice is yours, guys. Do we go into 2028 like winning it, or do we go into 2028 fighting with tooth and nail and fighting with everything, including the goddamn motherfucking kitchen sink? Yeah, we got to make that choice here, guys. We have to make that choice here because I'm going to tell you this right now. All right? And I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't want to lose 2026 because if we lose 2026, we're going to be fighting very hard in 2028. I want to win 2026 and coast into 2028. I want to be able to win by holding Maine, North Carolina, and flipping either Georgia or Michigan. If we do that, guys, walking into 2028 presidential election is going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be fucking easy. It's going to be so easy, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to be able to go like this. Shit. We're going to easily win the presidential election, barring any cheating, any other shit. Okay? Barring any of that, we're going to win 2028 easily if we fight and win 2026. If we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we win easily. We win scot-free. And we basically, like this, can walk into the 2028 presidential election knowing that we're going to win it either way. So the choice is yours, ladies and gentlemen. The choice is yours. Either we fight like hell in 2026 and walk into 2028 knowing that we're going to win, or we lose so badly that 2028 is going to feel like a war zone. All right? It really is. But I want to talk about this before we go. I know the War Department today released the UFO files. Sounds like another episode of the X-Files, but I know they released it, and then I'm going like this. Oh dear crap! They're gonna find out my alien crash site. They're gonna find out how I snuck into planet Earth. Oh damn it! There goes the party. But we all know that it was gonna bound to happen sooner or later, man. They're gonna be releasing the files, which is what President Trump wanted. He wanted transparency in the government. So they're going to probably be releasing the files on what? The UFOs? I wouldn't be surprised if they started releasing the files or releasing like the information about Area 51. If they start doing that, guys, oh shit. We're in for it now, man. We are in for it now. But I wouldn't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. I would not be surprised if they release files or show pictures of actual aliens or actual extraterrestrials or even an actual flying saucer. If that ever happens, guys, we're fucked. We're fucked on this planet, you know? Might as well just rewatch the episodes of the X-Files, guys. You might as well, guys. I'm telling you, man. You might as well. Man, oh wow. Yeah, that was a good long show, guys. That was a good long show. And yes, guys, it is the weekend. And you know what that means, guys. I am going to be checking out for the weekend. I know. I wanted to have this weekend all to myself, but yeah, I gotta work. I gotta work this Sunday. So hey, you gotta make the money, man. That's part of life. So you gotta make the money to maintain the podcast show, maintain my modeling gig like I have. So I got to do all that. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I hope you all have a safe and fun weekend. I'll see you on Monday. See you soon. Have fun. Bye for now.
You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.